We want to turn here now to a critically important issue that's not even close to as covered as it should be, especially vis-a-vis other conflicts around the world, and that is the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the ongoing humanitarian crisis and conflict continues. And anyway, let me not editorialize. We're going to get into all of that. We are very, very honored to be joined here on the show once again by Akilimali Chomachoma, who is a journalist covering the Democratic Republic of Congo and also Central Africa. Akilimali, thank you so much for being back with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me to be here and to share with this great television and this great program.
Well, it is our pleasure to have you here. And, I want to start with, the conflict in the East involving M23. It seems as if the fighting has been increasing, over the past month or so. So if you could maybe just give us a sense of, who is fighting over what in Eastern Congo.
Yes, giving you a fighting about what is going on here in DR Congo, you have to know, first of all, that it's M23, which is a movement supported by Rwanda, which is fighting in the east of DRC. We have a situation which is worse. We have around 7 million of people who displaced from their villages and are now living in other place in the country. We have million others who are living in neighborhood countries and right now are in need of help, and the situation is really dark and really bad about what is going on. As you can see in those images, that the situation is really dark and really bad because the situation, those IDP people are living in bad condition in a bad area. Until now, the fighting continue to be between the Congolese army, FARDC, and we have some support of some local group which called Wazalendo, and we have also on heavy weapons some SADC force, which is the South African Development Economic Community, which is helping here. We have also somehow MONUSCO, which is not really involved in this fight, but which is doing some kind of things. I don't know exactly to explain you what, but who is here also on the ground in the east of DRC.
Yeah, I want you to talk. Obviously, we're a bit more about what Rwanda's role is here, and of course, Rwanda being essentially a very close, some people might call even proxy of the West in the case of Congo. But I also wanted to ask you, and this is maybe like tangential. There was this apparent coup attempt earlier in May that took place that got some attention, but then kind of fell out of the news. And I know there was a recent trial of some of the people who were involved in that. And I'm just curious if you can also elaborate a bit on that coup attempt and if it matters or if it's connected at all to everything else we're witnessing in the DRC at the moment.
That attempt didn't really change anything on the ground because you have to know, because there are also a U.S. citizen who were arrested in that kind of in that crew of Christian Malanga is a Congolese, is an American citizen, a Congolese from his parents and his origin, and he tried to put a kind of attempt and to stop the government of Kinshasa and trying to put a new movement, but attempt didn't really succeed, and it seems like a kind of joke here locally, because the situation didn't change anymore on the ground, and they didn't really take a big part of the town, Kinshasa, the capital city of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Right now, Christian Malanga died in the response of the Congolese army until now, and we have also last Friday we had the beginning of the trial of those people, and until now we are still waiting for news from justice. And what was the motivation of Christian Malanga and his troop to do that attempt against the Tshisekedi regime?
I think one of the issues that people always, wonder a lot about in this context is obviously this part of the Congo in general is very mineral rich. And I think many wonder what is the connection between, the mining for these minerals and the conflict that is going on. And I wonder what you think about the connection between the conflict and the mineral wealth of the DRC.
Yes, because the DRC and the mineral, it's the same thing, and it can't be disconnected, because all this war, which is organized here locally in Congo in the east, it organized exactly by some proxies which are using some neighborhood country like Rwanda or Uganda to organize fight here, and to take resources, because they know that organizing. We have the region of the east of DRC, which is rich with the important mineral, which is the coltan, and the coltan is what is using to do, for example, our life, because we are using computer, we are also using telephone, we are also using our things, and this is an important mineral for the new technology. And you have to know that more than 50% of the world reserve of coltan is still in Congo, and most of it's in the east of DRC. That's why many countries, I can say, including countries like US, which is giving which is leading the market, because you have to know that uh, you have two of big companies of telecommunication, which are staying and which have their headquarters and their offices in US, and this is very, very important, and they are using all those proxy to say we have to take these minerals, and we have to steal these minerals, and they are really don't care about what is going on, about people who are bombing by the M23, which is a proxy of Rwanda, we proxy of those companies and those countries. They don't care about the humanity situation, which is really worse and really dangerous, and they don't care about children who are working, children and women who are working in those minerals, and they haven't money, and they haven't anything to do and anything to work with, and to help themselves to be insecure, and to have the better life. They can't have the telephone, for example, in the country which are giving to all the world the possibility to use telephone and computer, and they can't have even possibility to be educated and to go to school, because the security situation, firstly, is dangerous, is very worse, and secondly is that they have no infrastructure, they have no books, they have no materials to be educated, to be informed, to be trained to the world challenges, and to respond and to give to Congolese response. So anything in Congo, it's matter of its resources, and anyone who will tell you something else will lie for sure.
When we talk about, there's so much happening in Africa, particularly West Africa, over the last more than a year at this point. And I'm just curious if any of that has influenced the conversation in a place like the DRC. The fact that you have these countries in West Africa, which aren't that far away, that have taken on a very anti-imperialist tone, have kicked out the French. You've got countries talking about kicking out the Americans, like Niger. And I'm just curious if any of that. I mean, I know the DRC is dealing with its own, internal strife and violence, and the situation with Rwanda, but has any of that news, any of those developments, impacted the conversation or any of the movements that exist in the DRC?
A big movement, I can't say that. No, not a big movement like in those countries, but there is a big discussion between Congolese, and there is small movement are now which are now, I can say, some of it are now saying that we have to stop the imperialism of the Western countries, and they are using some fact because uh, for example, the war in the east of DRC is, I can say, 90% supported by Western countries, which are using those resources, even if some of their industry are in China or whatever else. It's the issue of the democracy. It's the issue of the possibility, but it's in a big discussion. It's a big discussion which is happening here, not only in Congo but in Central Africa region, because you are saying about issue of West African, but we have also some country in Central Africa, like Central Africa Republic, which is really in discussion, and which is really discussing about the possibility to leave Western country and Western system. It's also using some fact like we are using the Western system now. All the Africa, we can say that we are using that system. First of all, French countries. Now we have 50 years, around 50 years per country, because the independence happening around 50 or 60 years, around 50 or 60 years, and until now we have no development. We have no democracy, which were really expected. We have so many things, and we have also many countries which are involving in many conflict, and which are supporting many rebel group, like here in DRC. We have also some misinformation about what is going on in some country, and we have also some rumors that, for example, that some country are supporting terrorism, like in Mali, because I were there a few weeks later, and this is also happening, and this is growing, and the situation of the M23 is growing. That point of view that we have to leave this Western system, because it's not really helping the country, and it's not really helping African in general and Congolese in particular.
Well, a lot to follow here and a lot to keep covering, and we will keep following and we will keep covering, and we're very happy to have your assistance as we do this. Akilimali Chomachoma, journalist covering DRC and Central Africa, thank you so much for giving us some of your time here on the Freedom Side.
Thank you so much, and have a good show.
Mm-hmm.